fan of.
Yeah.
What's it called? Of stuff you can just kind of down. Because I'm not much of a pills person.
Yeah. I'm not either, dude.
Yeah, any kind of pill.
I'm not a pill or a shot guy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No way.
Yeah, same.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I was even thinking.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was like, dude, I don't even know what we're going to make
I
this
don't even know
about.
either, bro. I don't even know. I feel like it's like... No, I don't know. I was just kind of thinking we just have a normal conversation for like whatever, like an hour. We just see if anything comes out of it. Because I'm like, usually our combos are like...
They're fire.
Pretty action-packed. So
They're fire, I know. That's what I was thinking, too. Cause
Yeah.
I feel like they're usually fire, too. Because I probably got to go at like 4:15.
That's perfect. Yeah.
And then, but yeah, dude, I'm totally down. Yeah, I say we should catch up, whatnot.
see where it goes.
Yeah.
All right,
man.
dude.
But what is it called? Because, dude, I remember last time we talked, you were telling me you were gonna let me know if things were official or not.
Oh yeah, dude. She committed.
What? Wait, when was this?
It was pretty soon. July 23rd. I wrote it down.
What?
So she came. We were. I guess we talked like a week before that.
I think so, yeah.
And then she came. We were just. I forget what we were doing, bro. But we like. I think we were taking a nap, and then she just goes like, "Yo, remember that question you asked me?" Like, and I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "I want to do it now." I was like, "There it is." So she brought it up. She said yes. I actually teased her this past weekend. I actually told her what you said. I didn't say that you said it, but I was like, "Yo, my friends are like, if you wouldn't have committed, like,
Yeah,
dropped your ass."
Yeah.
She's like, so, no, I'm grateful, man.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think she just really needed a little bit more time, and I'm glad she took her time. Better for her
100%.
not to rush it. But dude, I was telling my buddy Micah this morning. Bro, she told me that I told her that I loved her in my sleep.
Really?
And I was like, what? So, I don't know. Apparently I did. I have no memory. And I was like, dude. It was like, I'd like explain to her like, yo, that's like not where I'm at. But like, damn. But yeah, that was crazy.
You're like, no, but like I love the idea of getting there eventually.
Like I'm on my way there.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
So that was insane.
Man.
I was like, what is going on? Maybe I did do it. I just like didn't. I know, bro.
Interesting.
Those nights.
Dude, I remember, what's it called? That is wild though, but that's why I was like, yeah, give it a little bit of time. Because I was like,
Yeah, dude.
I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to sit here and be like, oh, well, she's playing, blah, 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 this, and that.
Yep.
But I was like, well, if that's the case, I was like, at least in a month and a half or whatever, in a month, off rip.
Yeah.
But dang, because I feel like, I don't know if I'm much of a sleep talker, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing Anisa has told me is like, if I like fall asleep, if we're like on the couch and like my head is up, I'll just snore. But like, there have been times too where I've heard Anisa like talking in her sleep, like sometimes, like it doesn't happen all that often. But it'll be like stuff I can't really like. You can't really understand it. It's almost just kind of like mumbling stuff, like gibberish. And so it's just interesting. I don't know if maybe it's like when we have dreams sometimes, and it's almost like we're talking in our dream, but then it's just like,
Totally.
Yeah, like I remember there was one time, dude, and this was gnarly. Like I was like asleep and freaking I had this like nightmare that like I was over at like someone's house or whatever, and like their cat like kind of jumped at me or something, and so I literally jumped back in the bed and kind of like bumped her, and I was like, oh shit, like, my fault. But I literally was doing the whole like the whole nine, like just flipping out.
Yeah.
And freaking, dude, I just like opened my eyes and I was like, oh, holy cow, that was just a dream. But
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
Dude.
But, yeah.
Yeah, the sleepwalking thing is a real thing. And like talking in your sleep.
Yeah.
I read that when you're dreaming, you're like, acting out or it's like you're getting access to parts of your mind that are not available when you're awake, and you can kind of like see what's going on as you digest things as they happen. So like, I don't know, man. I think it shows that you really hate pets.
Literally. I mean, it's funny because I feel like I've gotten better with dogs, like
Yeah.
being around them, but like I just like chill dogs. Like if the dog is chill, like I'm fine. But like I was even talking to Anisa about it because I was like, dang, like if we got a dog, that'd be super cool.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, A, the dog would have to be chill, but B, I feel like having a dog at first would be cool, but I feel like after a week or two, I'd be like, I'm kind of tired of this. Like, I'm tired of taking the dog for walks, and like, if it's cold outside, we still gotta go out, and like, if
Totally.
it's super hot, I still gotta take the dog out. I wanna take a nap, but the dog has to, like, all that stuff. I was like, I don't wanna do all that. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it.
What dog would y'all get?
Dude, I would want a small dog, probably.
Small dog?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen like some of the freaking Great Danes and whatnot, dude. I remember one day I was at the outlets, and this Great Dane must have been like freaking huge, dude.
Yeah.
I remember I was like walking, and I was like, why am I almost looking this dog eye to eye for real? I'm like, this dog's on all fours. Not even like this dog was like jumping or standing or whatever. I was. Yeah, so that they look really dope though, but I think I'd be scared to have a dog.
Big
that
dogs
massive.
they're intense, dude.
Yeah.
I know you knew my ex-girlfriend, but you knew she had that big Rottweiler.
Oh yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if I told you about that, but
Yeah.
bro, it was crazy. It was like 120 pounds. It would like drool on everything, give you no personal space. Like you'd be trying to watch a movie and it would just be like biting your arm, not aggressively, but like wants to play.
Yeah.
And you're just like, dude, nah.
Yeah.
I'm good. So
I couldn't do it, dude.
Yeah, bro.
I could not.
no, dude.
Rottweiler too, dude. I would have seen that dog and been like,
bro,
peace.
you would not have been down. Dude.
Yeah, no, dude. I would have taken 2 steps in that house and I'd have said, have a good night. Yeah, dude.
And he would like look like he could really fuck you up.
Oh, yeah.
If he
for
wanted
sure.
to.
For sure.
But like he doesn't. Mm-hmm. But like you just see in his eyes, he'd be like, if he wanted to take me out, he could.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like, no, dude.
And that's why I'm like,
Yeah, bro.
that's what sketches me out. I think that's what, like, with dogs for the longest, like, growing up, that's why, like, I was so skeptical of them. Because, at least with people, you can kind of get a vibe on, like,
Totally.
how a person is feeling. But a dog, it's like, is this dog barking at me because he's excited to see me, or is he barking at me because he has beef with me and wants to kill me? Like, I don't know.
Don't know that.
And so, especially because I didn't grow up like owning dogs,
Yeah.
I didn't know how to like make that distinction of like, oh, this dog is like chasing me because he wants to play, or this dog is chasing me because he's angry or whatever.
Right.
And so, yeah, dude, but that's why, like, with cats, I feel the same way. I feel like cats, they just look mischievous.
Bro.
Like, they're up to no good all
They
the time.
are.
And it's almost like, I just feel like every time I go somewhere and there's a cat, it's like they're just plotting on my demise, dude. Like, I feel like if I ever had a cat, I would check, like, everything, like, in the house before I would, like, go to bed. Because I'm like, this cat must have done something. Like, he's just walking around, like, you know, not saying anything, you know. Just whatever.
Like, why is he sitting there looking at you like that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And what is he doing?
Looking for weaknesses, dude. It's like this cat is just
What's
looking
his
and he's
move,
like,
dude?
so he
And the
likes
eye
to
contact on those things is like, they look you right in the face and they're like, yo, like, what you gonna do?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Bro.
dude, and it's intense.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah, man, dude. Because they're chill for sure. Like, I like the fact that at least, you know, of course they don't bark or anything, but yeah, man.
Cats. Yeah, I don't know, bro. My family always had dogs growing up, so it was like, I'm kind of used to them, but also the maintenance of them now. Because, like, even being, like, I've been a bachelor for most of my, like, 20s, and but a lot of my girlfriends have had dogs. Like, even Caitlin, she has a dog. But I like her dog.
Yeah.
Because it actually can do shit. I'm thinking, like, I could run with this dog. It's friendly. Like, if you're going to have a dog, like, have it be socialized.
Oh yeah, of
and
course.
like be able to go like do shit with it.
Of course.
But it's just interesting, dude.
Yeah,
For sure.
dude. Because even at work, like a few of like one of the other dogs and one of the other assistants like brought their dog in one day,
Yeah.
and both their dogs are super chill. Like,
Right.
and so I was like, dang, like that's a vibe.
Yeah.
Because that's how it'd have to be, dude. Like, I would want a dog that's super chill, doesn't bark all the time. Because another thing, I'm like, I would hate it if I was like asleep and at 3 a.m. dog just starts going ballistic, barking or whatever,
Totally.
and it's just like,
Yeah, so screw that.
yeah. Because your family, the dogs, were they out like bigger dogs or more like?
Golden retrievers.
Oh, okay.
So they're chill, but this one they have now, he's kind of a menace. Like he has anxiety, like just annoying. He'll like, and they encourage it. Like they'll feed him food and shit, and like, but it's interesting, man. It's I think for me, I would have to be really particular about like the breed, and then like it being my dog. Like it'd be like this dog can do what I want it to do when I want it to do it. It doesn't have to like. It's not like a by committee situation. I think
Yeah.
that's what would work for me if I had a dog in the future. But yeah, we'll see, man. Haven't done it yet, so I don't think I will at this point.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll see.
I was
But
gonna say.
yeah.
Because would you get like a medium-sized dog though, or like a small
Dude,
dog?
breeds,
Or?
I get like I think an Australian Shepherd. So they're like high energy. They can run. They're social. That's my vision. Is like the dog could run with me, come to the soccer field like tied on a rope or something. That's what I'm thinking with it.
I feel.
We'll see, dude. Yeah.
Dude, I wish I could remember some of those breeds of dogs that that I saw the other day. Yeah, I can't remember because I'm not very good with breeds anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, because no, they're definitely smaller. They're probably
Okay.
that big, but like you said, man, just the maintenance and the like
Totally.
taking the dog to the groomer, like having to make sure, like, their breath doesn't smell terrible, whatever.
Yep.
Like, dude, because I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, people love their dogs, and I'm like, that's cool. Like, I get it, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I think it's interesting, like, even with Kaylin's dog, which I love her dog, because it's like a by committee thing. I think if you're dating a girl and she has a dog, you have to, like,
Of
be about
course.
the dog.
Of
And if you're
course.
not,
100%.
then you're like,
It's
nah.
a problem.
It's a problem.
Yep.
So it's like you're in it with the dog. So I like her dog, but to your point, we take it to the park. We go to the groomers on the way home. But it's not a beef. Like I think if you like the dog, it's part of
Yeah.
the family.
Of course.
So
of
you
course.
just do what you got to do. It's not a maintenance. I think it's only annoying when you like hate the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like with my ex with the big dog, you're like, dude, I already don't like you. So to have to do anything with you is torture.
Of course. Of course.
So
dude.
that's like that's the vibe. But yeah, man, pets.
Because I remember my homie, he had two super small dogs. And I remember I didn't go over to his mom's house for the longest because of it. Like,
Yeah.
literally, we had been homies. We've been, like, best friends since, like, maybe, like, sophomore year of high school, dude. I didn't go over to his house for the first time until probably sometime in college, dude.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, like it was at least a good 3-4 years before I went to his crib. Like,
Damn.
and the way I even went to his crib, I remember we were going downtown one day or something. He was like, oh hey man, like I'm just finishing up, getting ready or packing my stuff or whatever. He was like, but the dogs are in the back or whatever, so you can come inside. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, bet. And the dogs were not in the back, dude. And his mom was so mad. She's like, why'd you lie to him like that? But then it got me to it forced me to just freaking just get over it. And ever since then, it's been whatever.
Yeah.
Because I remember before, dude, we might shoot hoops outside or whatever, but I would never go inside.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, looking back on it, I'm like, damn, I'm glad he did it, because had to be done at some point. Like, it just wasn't a good look. Like,
No.
he would come through all that stuff, but I would never pull up.
Yeah.
And so,
It's I like died laughing when you texted about if do you have any pets.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah,
dude, Keenan doesn't like dogs.
for real, dude.
Yeah.
Nah.
No,
I remember freaking on me and Anisa's first date, dude.
Yeah.
We were just chilling, and so out of nowhere, this dog like starts barking, and the
Yeah.
way me and Anisa both side-eyed the
Yeah.
dog at the same time, dude. And basically, I was like, "Oh, my fault. Like, I just don't really like dogs like that." And she was like, "Oh, same here, dude." And the way in
Yeah.
that very moment, I almost got on one knee, and right then and there, full send, dude. I was about to be like,
She's
"Yo."
like,
So
"Girl."
honestly, like,
Yeah.
I just don't feel the need to like
To,
go on
like,
any
see
more
anymore.
dates. I already know. Like, let's just get married. Like, let's just run off and elope
Off and do it,
somewhere.
dude,
Like,
right there.
dude, but
Bro.
freaking, yeah.
It's
yeah.
good, dude. I mean, do you feel was there more like in that first date? Was there more than like I know we're joking, but like was there a lot of things that were compatible with you and her? Like
Yeah.
really quickly.
Yeah, dude. Like, I feel like we could relate to like having strict parents and like having parents who aren't from here, who came to this country and worked
Yeah.
super hard and raised us. We could relate to that. We could relate to growing up Catholic. We could relate to like, you know, taste in music.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just even like, even in terms of like the fact I was in dental school.
Yeah.
She was, she really wanted to go to med school. So even that being somewhat similar. Yeah, man. I think it was that. I mean, and it just felt like even from a personality standpoint, it just all clicked so well. Like,
Yeah.
I remember on that first date, dude, it felt like I had known her, like,
Yeah.
forever. It didn't feel like, oh, here's a girl that I'm just meeting for the first time. Conversation just flowed effortlessly.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't one of... Because, sometimes, like, you're on a date and it's like, well, if I don't say anything, it's just going to be quiet for, like,
Yeah.
5 minutes. And it's
Totally,
like, well,
dude.
So
Yeah.
you're sitting here, like, thinking, like, okay, well, we talked about this, so naturally
What's the next
I
thing?
should follow that up with this. And then they'll like say something, then you're like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, like,
and
what's
so yeah,
next?
with her though, it was just
Yeah.
like, boom. Like, I think we probably hung out for like maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, but it
Yeah.
felt like it was 10 minutes. It was just. I remember it came to the end of it, and we were just like, dang.
Yeah.
So.
And I forget, you guys met while you were in school? Like,
Yeah.
it was in class?
No, dude, we met because my homie Hamilton that I was telling you
Oh,
about
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything, he had met her a few years before, and like for her when she was in undergrad,
Yeah.
she got into this program that was like basically it was like a summer internship where she ended up doing like a summer internship at the dental school.
Yeah.
And so she met him during I think it was summer of his third year. And what's it called? And so like years go by,
Yeah.
and he's like, dude, I feel like you should hit this girl up. I feel like you guys would really vibe.
Yeah.
And at first I was just like, dude, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. Like, I don't even know her. Like, I've never met her. What do I say?
Yeah.
And so I kind of just like blew it off. And then he brought it up again one day. Like, I don't know what, maybe it was like a month later or something
Yeah.
like that. He goes, dude, I'm telling you, I feel like you should at least just hit her up, see what happens.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, sure. I'll just full send. So I literally just hit her up on Instagram, and like we had mutual followers, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I just hit her up and I was like, hey, like you came up on my suggested like follow list or something. And
Yeah.
I just, I think you're really pretty, and I was wondering if you wanted to get a drink sometime.
Nice.
And so she was like, oh, like that's really sweet. I'd love to.
Yeah.
And I remember she was telling me the only reason she decided to say okay was she saw like the people that like we followed,
Yeah.
and she knew all of them. She's like, okay, like I have a pretty good feeling this dude isn't a
Right.
creeper.
Yeah.
And she had told me that. So me and Hamilton used to have. I mean, we still have a YouTube channel where we'd
Yeah.
review country music.
Oh, okay.
And Ham had shown her some of like our videos, and this was back when like
Yeah.
she was doing that internship.
Yeah.
And so this, of course, was way before Ham had even thought about being, whatever.
Right.
And so she was also saying that she had recognized me from those videos.
Oh,
And she was
yeah.
I think I've seen him before.
Yeah.
But that was
Nice,
it, man.
bro.
And then the rest was history.
Slid in
It
the
was just-
DMs, man.
Yeah, dude, literally. So it's just so unconventional, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I like that kind of story. Every time it's like I tell that story to someone, they're just like, wait, really? Like,
Yeah, it's like, because generally I think like when I get blind or offers for blind dates, I'm always like, no.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you don't trust that they're gonna be any compatible with you, and like usually it's like already set up. Like go meet them at this coffee shop. You were just given like this is this person.
Yeah.
So then you took the extra step and were like, I'm gonna DM them.
Yeah.
Interesting, dude.
Dude.
It's cool.
It's yeah, it's definitely wild how it's like you said, man, it's funny though, because even my homie, even Hamilton, like, he didn't even expect all this. Like, he was thinking like, oh, I'm sure they'll have a good time. Yeah, they
Yeah.
might date, but like, you're not thinking that far off into the future that like,
Yeah.
oh damn, like, this might be a thing. They might date and get engaged and married, and
Yeah.
you're not thinking that far into the future. You're just thinking, well, she's pretty, I feel like they'll like each other, they'll be attracted to each other, and
You think that was it for him? He didn't
think
see
so.
anything past that. It was just super.
dude,
okay.
he's told me like,
Yeah.
because I had told him before, I was like, dude, I feel like, Indian girls are, super pretty, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so that's another, even though, Anisa's Pakistani, but like,
Yeah.
but he was like, dude, I just felt like, you were attracted to, girls like that, and I felt like she'd be attracted to guys like, me
Yeah.
or whatever. And so he was like, that literally, he was like, I was thinking that, of course, personality wise, he was like, you guys, he was like, you guys are similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like he was thinking that deep into it. So
Nice, bro.
yeah, man. So the fact that all that happened is just like, holy cow.
Yeah. And you proposed when?
This was. It was about a year almost after that first date, dude.
Dang, bro.
Yeah.
And the wedding's in a year from now ish.
Hopefully, yeah. About
Yeah.
a year. What are we in? Yeah, about a year.
Dude.
Yeah, year and 3 months maybe.
Goals, man. You're trailblazing, bro.
Thank you, man.
You're trailblazing
Thank
for
you.
us, dude.
So, dude, like freaking, it's one of those things. But like I tell people, I'm like, when you know,
Yeah,
like,
dude,
of
for
course,
sure.
like I tell people all the time, I'm like, if people have been dating for 2 years and it hasn't happened, it's not like I sit here and judge it,
Bro.
But I do feel like it's
Yeah.
important to at least have that conversation after a certain point and figure out where each person is at.
Yeah.
Because I think, because I have friends who they've been dating for 3, 4, 5 years, but they've had the conversation. So
Okay.
they know, like, okay, bet,
Yeah.
like, we're going to get married. We love each other. Like, we know it's happening at some point, but, like, they're at least on board. I feel like
Yeah.
dating someone for 5 years, 6 years, and not
Nah,
talking to them about it at that
Yeah.
point, it's just kind of like, I mean, what more do you need to know? You know what I mean?
I do.
And I feel like with me and Anissa, even like early on, I was blessed that like we started dating and everything during third year of dental school. So like things were a little bit lighter in terms of like, stuff outside of school. So
Yeah.
we spent a lot of time together. So I think that also helped me know a little earlier on. And it wasn't like, oh, I was seeing her once a week. It was like, no,
Yeah.
like I might, see her, like spend almost all weekend with her, whatever. And
Yeah.
then I might see her 2 or 3 days out of the week.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So I think because of that, it helped.
Nice.
And that's why when people would ask us, like, oh, when you guys moved in, was it weird or whatever? It's like, no, not really. I mean, we'd already, like, spent so much time together that we kind of knew what each person was like in terms of their preferences and in
Yeah.
terms of how they, how they kept their space and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I don't know how much you want this to be public, but I'm just curious because like I even have these conversations with Kaylin about like, should you wait till marriage to move in with somebody? And sometimes I'm like, what's like, is it the moral thing? I know you grew up Catholic, I grew up like Baptist Christian, and it's like that's kind of like a no, morally, right? But I think, like, should you? And I'm like, I kind of stand on the fence of, like, maybe, but, like, I would definitely want to know that this is going to be my girl forever. If, you know, before doing that kind of thing. I don't think it's something you do as a experiment, or, like, let me just see if this is going to, and people say that, like, I got to know if I can live with someone. I'm like, if you love that, like, if you know that's your person, it's going to work. But, I don't know, man. What would you?
Dude, yeah, I would say, like you said, man, I think I'm more of the mindset of, like you said, maybe to yes. I'm trending more towards yes. And this is why, because I think it's important to get a feel for somebody and for who they are as a person before jumping into marriage. Because marriage is a huge commitment. I think the goal of getting married is to not get divorced. And so it's kind of like, you know, the way I think about it too, it's almost like, okay, well, do you save yourself for marriage? And personally, I'm against it, because I think even if you love someone, if sometimes if you're not compatible in the bedroom, or, you know, whatever,
For sure.
and let's say for whatever reason, one person or the other, they're not willing to accommodate the other person more, at that point it's like, okay, so do you stay unhappy for the sake of staying unhappy? Or do you, you know, divorce? And now you got divorced, which is also a sin. So I just think in this day and age, things are a little different now. And I think it's one of those things where, I think saving yourself is tough, because I also think when you're saving yourself, you might jump into a marriage too early for the sake of, okay, like, of course you get to the point and, you know, everyone is curious, everyone wants to do it, and so it's like, okay, well, now you get married at the age of 19, but you're not happy, and so now it's like, okay, well, now what's the alternative here?
Totally.
So that's just my thing personally. I had a friend in high school. I remember he was initially saving himself. And then he went to college. Dude, and I remember I saw him, me and Hamilton kicked it with him one day, and he's like, guys, I lied. He was like, hey, you know, I got to college, and I was like, no. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, I couldn't do it. And it was,
that's the thing, dude.
I was like, I mean, because I think it's important to kind of explore that part of, like, you know, what do I like? What do I not like?
For sure.
And I'm not saying, like, you need to just get this huge sample size per se, but, like, at the same time, if you're with someone and you could see it going there, you could see it, you know, going the distance, I say, you know, it's worth giving it that, you know, test run, you know, before you tie the knot with that person.
It's so interesting because, I mean, I have a lot of friends who are, like, super Christian. And they would hear that argument. And I'm trend more towards what you just said. And that's how I've gone about dating. And that's not a, like, I'm sure my parents might look at that and be like, I'm not proud of you.
Oh, yeah, same.
Or, like, other people would be like, that's a sin. But for me, I'm like, and I listen to the way you describe, like, do you want to marry someone without experiencing that? I'm like, and to your point, do you want to rush a marriage because you're just like, I just want to I just want to have sex. But I know people do that. And I've heard, like, it works and then it doesn't work. But for me, I'm like, nah. And I think I ask myself too, like, is it as black and white as, like, people make it out to be? I don't think it is.
No,
I don't think it is personally.
Not at all.
And I don't know, man. It's a good one to, like, prod at and think about, because, you know, you don't want to be making decisions just fueled off of, like, sex drive.
Oh, of course.
Or, like, whatever. You want to, like, make it from a place of, like, I'm evaluating this thing across the board, and you don't do that when you're just trying to, like, have sex.
No, not at all. Not at all, dude. Like, I've definitely made decisions in the past where it's like, I definitely would not have made that decision if I would have been more level-headed and, like, had the perspective. Like, I remember being, like, insecure and all that stuff, and, like, because I hadn't been in a relationship and all these things, I was eager to get in a relationship, and even if it was with someone I didn't really like that or wasn't really into like that, it was just the sake of, oh, well, at least I can call someone my girlfriend now, and at least, like, you know, I'm not going to be single. And it was like the decisions that I made because I was in that mindset, you know, going on dates with girls where it's like, if I would have been secure in myself, I wouldn't have done that because I would have said, I'm sure she's a lovely person, but, like, I'm just not into that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it's the same thing. I feel like because I had that mindset, I felt the need to almost like rush things and overanalyze things.
Yeah.
You know, like it'd be one of those things where like, oh, well, a girl smiled at me and like said hi earlier. Does that mean she thinks I'm cute? Does that mean she could see herself dating me? You know, and it's just like, but if I would have taken a step back and been like, okay, like, I know there's someone out there for me, but I'm not going to rush it, you know? But when, like you were saying, but when it comes to having sex, it's hard. It's hard to kind of flip that and to be like, I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't need to. Because, you know, especially once you get to that age where it's like you're in college, you're finishing up high school. It's tough. It's tough because you're curious about it. Chances are you have friends who are like, oh, yeah, like, you know, I went on a date with so-and-so, whatever. And now you're just hearing this stuff and you're like, dang, I mean, I wish that was me. Like, or I wish I was doing, you know? It's a tough climate. And then that, and then of course you go on social media or like you go on whatever and you're seeing, you know, all these things and you're like, or you're watching a movie or a TV show and there's a sex scene in it. And now you're sitting here going, well, I mean, you know.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a really toxic, like, shame cycle that a lot of people get into because they shame themselves. And I even went through this. I would like shame myself if I like did anything and I'd be like, what? Like this is bad or something. And then it makes you like weird in relationships because you're like, you're in this like self-pity guilt cycle and then it just doesn't like, I don't think it like allows you to be yourself almost. And you could argue a lot of that with like, not just Christianity, but like people who are really moralistic and like try to have a bunch of rules on themselves, and it creates this cycle of guilt and shame. And I've seen that in my life, and until I like accepted, like, dude, this is a normal part of being a human. Like being a guy is like you're got to be okay with these things about yourself and allow yourself to like embrace them, and be in them within your life and within your relationships, and don't let anyone else tell you that you're less than. And I've accepted too, like, because I've tried to push a lot of people who act that way out of my life, but I've learned that like there's stuff to be learned from everybody. So you can have different types of people in your life, just like you don't have to listen to everybody. And that's a piece too that's been big for my like who I keep in my circles, is realizing everyone has something to teach you. It's just, what do you take away for yourself?
100%.
And that's been a big one, is like learning how to be in dating dynamics for what I believe is right, not what other people think. You know, you and I have talked like at large and like with my like dating stuff, and I think that's been healthy. I think it's good to have sounding boards. But at the end of the day, it's like on you to figure it out, and it's interesting too, for sure.
No, you're right, because I think that's what a lot of it is like taking bits and pieces from like, okay, well, I see how this person does this and this. I like that. I'm going to take that. These other things, I mean, not for me personally, but like that's okay. It's not like, okay, well, I think this person's a bad person, whatever. Even like my parents, like same thing. Like I look at my parents and I'm like, I respect my parents' drive. Like they worked hard to get me to, you know, where I'm at, to get to where they're at. But are there certain things that I wouldn't do personally? Yeah. Like, did I feel like my parents were too strict? Yeah. Would I be that strict with my own children? Probably not.
Totally.
But at the same time, it's like I can still respect my parents. I can still love them, you know, whatever. But yeah, like you said, man, that's the biggest thing, is taking bits and pieces. Like if these friends, if they go to church, you're like, oh, well, that's good. Like going to church, you know, is good. Like, you know, they read their Bible. You're like, okay, that's good. But like the overly critiquing, the over judgment, you're like, well, that's not good. That I'm not taking that. And I think that's something like God would never want us to live that way either. I don't think, because ultimately I had to accept this too, is like, we're human, and like, especially being, you know, a new dentist and everything, that's been tough for me to accept too, is like, I'm not gonna be perfect off rip. Like I probably never will, because being human, you're literally never gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, I can sit here and like beat myself up and go, damn, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe, I did this one thing that I wish I didn't do, whatever. It's all about learning to adjust and be like, okay, well, yeah, this happened. I'm not going to beat myself up for it, but I'm going to learn from it in a constructive way. I feel like that's major, because beating yourself up, one thing I've learned about it is it never does anything for you. Like when I was single and like I was insecure, like whenever I got a girl's number and she didn't respond, I would like beat myself. I'd be like, no, like, damn, why didn't she respond? Like, no, maybe it's because I'm awkward and like I didn't like, use the right line to get her number or whatever. Like, and I would just get in my head, and the only thing I noticed was it made me more tensed whenever I try to talk to girls, because in my mind it's almost like I'd be like, please don't reject me, please don't reject me. And it's like girls can feel that energy. Like
for sure,
if you're so in your head and you're almost like on one knee like, please give me your number, like it's not gonna work. But yeah, once I learned to just stop judging myself like that, and I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna try, and if it doesn't work, like that's okay.
It's almost like taking a chiller approach to life and to women. And like, it's funny, I remember I used to be in these really like, I think I told you about this, like these conventional circles where these guys were like super Christian, and we would like sit around and talk about life. And like, I remember a couple of them being like, I don't judge this because everyone's on their own journey, but like they would just, if like this guy like watched porn, he would like hate himself, and I'd be like, dude, like it's all right. Like you just got to take that, you got to go do something, like go talk to like a real girl.
Of course.
But like the self-shaming and stuff like has to stop.
Oh yeah.
Like to your point, because it's like that does nothing. And for me to break free from that, I had to like move myself out of those circles and be like, I'm accepting my humanness. And like that was a big shift for me, which was really healthy. And I want to continue to do that, but I still think there's a lot of things to be learned from really conservative people, I think, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, even allowing more people into my life now who have more of that, like, they frame things in like that new age way, like they like be like universe, and like they'll say things like they do like affirmations and things. Like I don't judge that either, because I'm like, it's just different way of like describing spirituality. Doesn't mean it's wrong, doesn't mean it's like sinful, it just means that that's their language around what we're all experiencing. So I think there's stuff to be learned from everybody. But yeah, it's interesting. It's trying to figure out like how to move forward and not be self-judgmental and not like buy into doctrine that's like, that's a big thing too, like, but I just left Catholic school. And it's no judgment. I know you were raised Catholic. There's no judgment against Catholics, but like that's too regimented for me. It's too strict. It's too robotic, and that's not what like God is. God is not like to do these steps and then you can feel good. It's like, nah, man. It's just too dug, I think, into the past, which is like not what growth is. Growth is like, how are you moving forward? Where's your life going? What intentions do you have? So it's just like, yeah, it's just fascinating to look at. But
yeah, no, you're right, man. It's very interesting because, like you said, man, I think that's something where, it's important to not be too hard on yourself, but to also not be judgmental towards others as well. Because that's another reason why, like, I just don't go to Catholic church as much anymore, and I go to, I think it's a non-denominational church, but like for the same reason, like, it's nice to go into church and to see people happy, like to see people like smiling, like, worshiping, like the song comes on, people are vibing to it, like, and it's not just like you said, this Catholic church kind of thing of like, okay, like we read this thing and then like they sing this hymn and then we read this thing and then we get a homily and then we read this thing again and then we take communion and then we read and then we go home, and it's just like,
nah, that ain't it.
Like you said, it's just like, it's just something where, and you're like looking around and people are just like just somber. It's just like, oh man. And so That's my thing too. And I mean, like you said, I'm like, I don't judge anybody. Like, I understand that, because the way I look at it, I'm like, all churches to me, I wouldn't say all, but like most, I'm like, as long as you're praying to the same God, whichever, or worshiping the same God, whichever format works best for you, go for it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who are older who love that, like, that regimented, like, they like to go into church, they know what to expect. Okay, we're going to do this, and then we're going to go home, and it's not too loud, it's not too much, whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, you know, I think at the same time, there are people who are like, you know, I'd rather do my own kind of study or whatever, like, and read the Bible and pray on it. That's cool too.
Yeah.
I think the thing for me, something I want to try to do more is, like, I've been listening to this book, this audio book. I think it's called The Power of, like, Deep Work or something, Deep Work or whatever. But it talks about, like, your focus.
Yeah.
And with that, I feel like I want to hone in and really just, like, change my mental towards a lot of things, because it's crazy how so many things are controlled in your mind.
Yes.
And so I was thinking about, because I dabbled in, like, affirmations for a little bit, but I feel like there's a way to, like, do affirmations in a way where you're still including God in it, and it doesn't become this whole, like, I can do this, I can do that, I can, but I want it to be more so where it's like, no, God has blessed me to, like, view things this way, and, like, so I can do this, or, like, I'm about to do this thing and I'm thinking the best because I know God is watching me do, you know what I mean? Like, God is with me. And so, I feel like that'll really help. Cause it's tough. I feel like sometimes it's easy to just, like, get in this cycle of just, like, I don't want to hit the gym today. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of tired.
Yeah.
You know, and even if you're not all that tired, once you start telling yourself you're tired, it's almost like you get even more tired.
Totally.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like I'm just trying to learn to really differentiate between, like, am I just tweaking and, like, telling myself I should be tired just because, or am I actually tired? So yeah.
Interesting, dude. Yeah, and I find it fascinating because I do affirmations too, and I do, like, I am statements. So, like, I am loving, or, like, I am disciplined, blah blah, and, like, that's helpful, but I think it's in the doing of these things where you actually, like, start to become that person.
Of course.
So, like, if you're not doing the activities, like, and I try to do, like, identity level shifting, like, if who do I need to be to become who I want to be? So, like, who's Michael a year from now? What's he gonna do with his day? Like, he's gonna wake up early, he's gonna hit the gym, he's gonna do deep work, like, all. So, like, that's what I look at. I'm like, am I doing what my future self would be happy I'm doing now? And the deep work thing is real, dude. Like, you do, like, because I think, like, we think that we're only capable of doing, like, a little bit of work, but, like, we can do, like, blocks of, like, really focused, intentional work. But yeah, man, I think it's good. It's good to challenge yourself to try to think and like, incorporate God into, like, your day to day, and that's a good way to do it, I think, with the affirmations thing. So that's good.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Well, dude, it's probably 4:15, man. If you wanna rip it.
Hell yeah.
All right, dude.